beautiful friends, it's Anita. I got 2 of my little forget-me-not bookmarkers completed. I'm just gonna talk and let's hope that this will upload. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little refresher on the crown of the Burst of Kindness beanie, and I'm gonna use purple, so hopefully this shows up well for you. And I hope this is not gonna be too hard to explain. What you will need. Okay, got all my supplies. I'm ready to go. I got a darning needle, a stitch marker, scissors, my 5.5 hook, which we were doing the mingle stitch, so you might need a bigger size hook too, depending on your tension. Double magic loop, chain 1, which does not count. I'm going to go ahead and put my stitch marker on that loop. Alright, that's just hanging out there like that. So you can do 6 single crochets in in the circle. 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you count your stitches. The V's are what you're counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You tug on this just slightly and you have these 2 strings here. The one that goes in first, as you can see, is the second one here. Pull that one first. And that first circle went in. You pull this one. Voila, magic. Alright, so now with this tail, what I do is I just carry it over to the side and weave it in. So here is row 2, which is gonna use the extended single crochet, but we're gonna increase. So you're gonna put 2 extended singles in each of these 6 stitches, and it's gonna go on top. So this is considered an increase row. So go into the loop, carry your tail as well. Pull up a loop, chain 1, pull up a loop, and go through 2. Do that again. Chain 1 and 2. Do that. 1, 2. Okay, and you have one more. Okay, so that's should be 12 extended singles. I'm gonna move this over to this loop. So that is row 2, and you can count your extended singles And I actually count the posts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so this long stitch here does not count as a stitch, remember. So row 3 and all the way to the end of the row is gonna be mainly your repeat until the top of the hat is the size of your hand if you're making for yourself. So what you want to do is in each of the extended singles, you're going to see a V and then the single crochet. So in that V, in between the legs, right here, you're going to insert the hook in between the legs. So make sure you're in between the legs, see? And you're going to do an extended in that stitch. And then on the top of the next extended single, you're going to increase by putting an extended in that extended. Now on the third stitch, this right here is considered extended increase. So you're going to front post on this one with an extended single, and then you're just going to repeat that all the way around. So one inside of the first stitch, and then you're going to increase with one on top and one around the post, one in between the legs, one on top, and one around the post. In between the legs, on top, and around the post. In between the legs, on top of the post, and around the post. In between the legs, around the post. Okay, so that is your round 3. And what you're going to do is extend it in each extended, and then when you get to the post section, you're going to do it increased. Okay, so for row 4, what you're going to do is 2 extended in each extended of the next 2. So 2 extended singles in the extended single. And then you're going to do an increase, which is one on top and one around the post. So whatever row you're on, that's how many stitches you should have in the multiples, I guess. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, then you're going to increase, and then post is 4. Remember, you're going between the legs. So 1, 2, 3, and the post is 4. This is 4. Alright, so now that I got back to the stitch marker, I know that my row 4 is completed. And you can't really see that well on this yarn, but basically you're just going to repeat this all the way around. Now, because this is going to be my mingle beanie, I did start with a multiples of 6. I usually use my hand method, which is about 60 stitches. But if you need it wider, then you want to go to 12 rows instead of 10 or 11. Otherwise, it changes the whole pattern up, but do what you want. It's your hat. As long as it makes you happy, you do what makes you happy. Okay, friends, I left you off at row 5, which was 5 times 6 is 30 stitches. Well, I did another 5. I'm at 60 here, and 60 is my magic number for my hat count. So, end of my palm to the tip of my finger is how wide my crown should be. And that's basically all the way around. And you can see the spiral. Now, my spiral, this is basically how I altered the hat so that it's easier to start and finish. So now, once you get your count correct, I'm not going to increase anymore. So 60 is my magic number. but you need to find your magic number that is divisible by 5. So 60 is divisible by 5. So since there is 6 spools, 6 pieces of the pie, that means there'll be 2 clusters for each piece of pie. So normally there's 2 things that I would typically use it for. And let me go grab this one. This hat is what I finished yesterday, which is a half double crochet camo stitch, which is basically you do half double first and then you do the next row half double in the 3rd loop. This is the commingle stitch. A commingle stitch consists of a purl, single crochet, and then a cluster, and that's it. And I'll show you how to do that. Now, because this was a 6 bulky, it is quite thick. I mean, there is holes, but it's not wholly where it'll be cold. So that is one hat that I completed. This other one that I did with the commingle stitch is the first one I did. I did just a single crochet in the back loop only on these last rows here, which again we have the purl stitch, the single crochet, and the clusters. So I mean, all my hats are typically different, but it's the same. They start with the burst of kindness, and then they have the body, and then we have the brim. So that's 2 hats. This one though, I'm gonna just start it with the crown. For the body, I'm gonna go up to a size 6, and what we're gonna do is this stitch marker, I'm just gonna leave it there. Now remember, we need to do a multiple of 5. So we're gonna start with still going into the extended singles for the stitch. So the first stitch is going to be a purl stitch, and then with the purl stitch you bring your yarn to the front, you go into the loop. Normally it's really up to you. You can go on the top, but I'm trying to be fancy. I'm gonna go into the leg of the single crochets or extended single crochets. So go in the loop. Now here's the legs that I'm talking about. So just go through it, take your yarn and pull it through, and that kind of just hangs out there, and then you do complete the single. I mean, you can leave it hanging out like that. If it's too loose, then you can kind of adjust the stitch, but I kind of like it like that. So the next stitch, you're just gonna go in there and do a single. So that's 2. Now for this first row, it's gonna be different. Well, easier. So you're gonna go into the first stitch, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and then go into the next stitch, pull up a loop. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, and pull through all 4. So that was stitch 1, 2, and this is considered 3. Now you're going to chain 4 to make it 5. So there you have the first set. Now we're going to go ahead and do the second set. Now remember, you went into these 3 already, so you're going to go into these 3. So you're going to go in, you're going to bring your yarn to the front, pinch it, and pull it up, and do a single, do a regular single into the next stitch, and you're going to go into this stitch, I missed it, see? You're going to go into the legs, that's 1, 2. Now here is, when you get to the post, you can go right in between the posts. So that's 4. Yarn over, and pull through all 4, and chain 2. And you'll do that all the way until you come back to the stitch marker. I'll talk it through one more time. Oh, sorry, see, I already messed it up. Yarn in front, go into the loop, single, go in between the legs, single, and we're going to do a cluster, 1, 2, and 3. See how it's going in between those legs? Yarn over and pull through all 4 and chain 2. Yarn in front, I missed it, see? Missed it again. Go in between the 2 legs, 1, 2, 3. Yarn over all 4 and chain 2. And it'll start to curl, but that's okay. And just repeat. Remember, you gotta get into the legs. So yarn in front, So this will be your first and final row of going into the extended single, and so it shouldn't, be too much of a hassle. Got 2 more sections to go. So chain 2, go in this stitch with a pearl. This one's a single. Okay. this is a cluster. 1, 2, and get in between. 1 and 2. Alright, so that is row 11. Okay, so this next row, which is my row 12, is going to be pretty much a repeat until when you fold the hat like this, and it gets between here to about to your knuckle. Here is how big you want it to be, how many rows that should say, and then everything about this much left, you'll work on the brim, and I'll figure out what I want to do when I get there, because like I said, all of my hats are all different and unique, but with the same consistency. Alright, so what you're going to do is do a purl in the purl, single in the single, and then when you get to the cluster stitch from previous, what you're going to do is going to go into the first stitch there, go into the front loop of that cluster, and then go into your chain 2. And you have 4 loops on your hook, and you're just gonna pull through all 4 and chain 2, and you repeat. Now here's where it gets kind of tricky. You got to make sure you go in between the purl stitch, which here and here. So yarn in front, go into the purl stitch, single, and you're going to single in the single. You're going to see the stitch is kind of tight, so you got 1, 2, and 3. You're going to go into the loop here, and then when you get to the top of the cluster, you're just going to go in the front loop and pull up a loop, and then into the chain 2. So just make sure you don't go into that stitch, because that's the next stitch. So yarn over and pull through all 4, and repeat. So that was your 2 sets of clusters, or 2 sets of commingles in 1 section of the pie. I'm gonna pause the video here, and I'm just gonna work that until I get between here to my knuckle, or my thumb knuckle. I'll tell you how many rows I finish when I get back to show you how to do the brim.